Hey there friends, this is Caly. Thanks so much for joining me here on the MFT YouTube channel. Today we're creating a lemon card with some masking. So I'm going to use this rectangle extraordinaire stencil here for my masking. And I'm just going to adhere a blank white panel to it on the back side. And then from the front side, I'm going to be stamping first with some Versamark ink so that I can emboss my images with white embossing powder and then do some emboss resist ink blending. I went ahead and prepped my surface there with some anti-static powder tool, just so the powder doesn't stick to my cardstock where I've handled it with my fingers. I'm using one image at a time and stamping them in several different places and spacing them out so that I can fill in all the empty spaces with different parts of images as they reach the border. So once I've stamped, I'm going to remove my mask and then apply that embossing powder. And once that embossing powder is on there, I'm just going to use a brush and brush away those other areas underneath the mask where the anti-static tool did not touch. So there's some stragglers that I just wanted to brush away. Now I'm going to apply that mask back over my embossed image, and then I'm going to do some ink blending. I've got squeezed lemonade, scattered straw, and wild honey distress oxide inks. So I'm just going to blend one color at a time, and I am using the same ink dauber. So that's why I'm starting with the lightest color first, just because I'm going to be adding darker color to my dauber and don't want to get that center more dark than I intended. So I've added my lightest color, and then I'm going in with medium and then again with the dark. I find that as you move in circular motion, it's easiest to get a soft blend if you go both directions, so counterclockwise and clockwise to get that smooth blend. I've sprayed my panel with some water splatters just to get a little bit of texture on there. Then I removed my mask and set it aside so that I can start stamping and coloring these lemon images. So I've got some stamped here, and we're just going to start. I know they're lemons, so they're going to be yellow, but I wanted to add some contrast, so there is some orange in the coloring process. I've added the darkest first on the outer edges on the right, and then I'm going to blend with the medium and then the lighter shades of yellow towards the left. So for this lemon piece here that's been cut in half, I'm going to view those dots as the light source. So that's where the lightest portion of the coloring is going to be. And for the wedges, I'm going to color around the outsides with the darkest shade and work my way in towards the center with the light. I color that wedge the exact same way as I do for that half sliced lemon. So we're going to move on to the leaves. For these leaves, I'm going to add the lightest color first just towards the center there. I'm not too worried about going all the way out to the edges. Then I'm adding the darkest color in the crevices and towards the bottom there. And then going in with the medium shade to blend that out a little bit. And then going back over the entire thing with my lightest shade again, just to get a smooth blend of all three shades. I color the rest of my leaves the exact same way, so we're going to go ahead and skip that part. After coloring, I die cut all of my images here, and I've got my ink blended panel back. I've decided the layout of my card, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere all of the images to my ink blended panel now. I've decided to add the lemon pieces with foam adhesive for some dimension, but for those leaves on the right and left, I'm going to use liquid adhesive to adhere it directly to the ink blended panel so that they stay behind the lemon wedges for extra dimension. Now to give these lemons lots of texture, I'm going to use my white gel pen and add lots of gel highlights to the lemons. I'm adding a few lines like I normally do with all of the images that I normally color, but for the wedges, I'm going to add lots of little hash marks and dashes just to imitate the pulp on a regular lemon or lime. I thought adding this detail would give it a nice touch. So once we're done with those details, I'm going to set my card aside and work on a sentiment. I'm going to stamp this word hello over black cardstock and then again emboss it with white embossing powder. Since my card already has embossing on it, I couldn't really stamp my sentiment over that, so that's why I'm embossing a separate sentiment strip. Once I heat set that, I went ahead and trimmed it off camera so I can add foam adhesive to it and mount it on my card. And at this point, I decided I wanted it to mat my card base, which is something I always like to do. So I'm going to take my trimmer and cut off 1/8 of an inch off all of the sides. I feel like this refines my cards a little bit and cleans off the edges where the card panel may have been overworked. So it just gives it a fresh, clean cut. And then when I add it to my card base, there's this nice mat all around the card. And that finishes my card today. I hope you enjoyed this simple version of a lemon card. I appreciate you stopping by and hope you have a great day. Bye.